Hey guys, this is Oz. I'm a professional wedding filmmaker, and this is Wedding Talk. Today, I wanted to talk to you about why I believe vendors are more important than your venue. I believe brides and grooms miss out on the opportunity of having the best wedding day they could possibly have because they choose their venue over their vendors. In my opinion, vendors should be brides' number 1.5 priority in really designing and planning their wedding. Honestly, I believe brides should book their planners first, their photographers and videographers first. If you book your venue first without any of your vendors and without prioritizing them, you can be restricted to the wedding day you may have not dreamed of. Now, you may be asking why, but before we get to the why, we have to understand what venues are capable of. Now, I do want to lay this out beforehand. All venues have different procedures and policies and rules and people that work for them, and they completely run different at times that are completely abnormal to the normal of wedding venues. Now, this is just from my experience and what I've seen with venues and what I've seen they're capable of. So venues offer support. They offer day of coordinators, they offer tables and chairs, they offer the ability to set up those tables and chairs, they offer cleanup, they also offer things like catering and bartending depending on the venue that you get. And sometimes venues even offer a very interactive day of coordinator, which is very different than a day of coordinator. What I mean by interactive is they reach out to you and they're involved with you prior to the wedding day, prior to a lot of the action that is taken for the day of. Venues provide you with a space that allow your vendors to perform at their highest capability. They provide space and amenities for your vendors to perform at the highest quality they can. Some venues may also be limited in their amenities to what they provide for their vendors. An example of that, and a great example that always happens with a lot of outskirtsy type venues, which are beautiful by the way, no Wi-Fi. And that could be a problem for some of the DJs that you may be looking into. Venues also provide you a space to get married. Venues also have plenty of rules. Keep in mind that venues have a lot of rules that may be easily forgotten or miscommunicated by the venue. Some of these rules may be required catering at the venue or required bartending at the venue. Now, some of these venues may not force you to use the catering at their place, but they may force you to choose a vendor of their choosing that belongs to a list that they have designed for the best vendors for their venue. This can limit what you may desire for your wedding, what you might want to eat, what you might want to drink, or how you may do it, and it may infringe on your budget that you may have already set. Some places don't even allow sparklers because they don't have fire marshals, or they may require a fire marshal for you to hire. And with all that being said, there's really a whole lot to understand and to grasp and to, abide by when putting together a wedding. And with that, brides, your vendors help you clarify, communicate, and simplify the limitations and restrictions your venue may have. Now, the next thing on the list that's important before we get to the why I prefer prioritizing the vendors over the venue is understanding the value of your vendors. So let's start with planners. Planners help establish the look, theme, and presentation of your entire wedding day. Not only do they do that, they help organize and maintain order throughout the entire day. Planners have a knack for having a skilled professional vision of what their bride wants. Part of that could be choosing your venue, which is highly important to your theme, to the look that you want, and to how you want to be represented on the day of your wedding. They can figure out all the problems your wedding may have the day of and resolve them for a smooth cruising day. They are your messenger. They take the worry and the weight off your back. They are also an extension of your passion and your love between each other. They have every intention to make your wedding day perform as smooth as possible, which in turn is something that a venue does not provide. Your photographer and your videographer are your next best thing to your planner. The only limitations that photographers and videographers have is that they won't decorate, plan, design, and theme your wedding venue. But photographers and videographers have the same knack and passion for your vision, except it's in the digital world. and it's in post-production. They understand the technicalities of timing, lighting, and locations. They understand the best places at your venue and what they need to capture it. They know the best compositions and layouts for your ceremony, for portraits, for family photos, and stretch your venue to its fullest potential. And yes, sometimes photographers and videographers make your venue look better than it was on the day of your wedding. Photographers and videographers have the experience to organize your wedding day as much as your planner does. They offer pointers and important advice to organize your timeline throughout the day. They understand and prioritize certain shots that will and won't make the cut in post-production. Now let's talk about the DJs and the MCs. These guys are the quarterbacks from your ceremony and on. These guys direct and lead and guide your guests for the planners or for the day of coordinators or for the photographers and videographers for the rest of your day. They speak to your guests, they're involved with your guests, they're highly important to your wedding day. Now the question is, why are we prioritizing vendors? Well, in my opinion, which includes everything that I had just said, they are the establishing foundation to your wedding day. So things like small weddings, backyard weddings, home weddings, low budget weddings, they're enhanced to the fullest potential. And like I said, they can be made to look more beautiful than they were on the day. Your vendors make it so that you enjoy your wedding day. Claiming the responsibility and tasks of your vendors, it's a very possible thing, and of course they prove to be a challenge. But what's worse is that it prevents you from thoroughly enjoying your wedding day. Your vendors hold each other accountable, including your venue, making sure that all agreements made and all contracts signed go through smoothly, and the final product with your footage and your wedding day has the best possible outcome. In my opinion, magic isn't made at a vendorless venue. I've worked at venues where there's no planner, there's no day of coordinator, where brides are planning it, and it really makes it difficult to enjoy as a bride, as a groom, when you're stressing out about your own wedding day. So the next question is, with all this bad venue talk, are venues bad? And the answer to that is no, I don't believe venues are bad. I believe venues are awesome. Venues have given me a lot of amazing footage for my couples, and they've given my couples such great experiences. Although I believe that venues are really the best thing only if paired with the right vendors to the prestige of the venue. Now, what do I mean by that? Couples should book the most appropriate vendors for the situation and the venue that you choose. So a great example of this could be having a wedding at a very large venue with 300 guests and not having a planner and booking only one photographer. Now, of course, if you want a huge wedding, there's nothing wrong with that. But really, in order to handle that high of a capacity of people and organize and plan and schedule a day with that many guests, in my opinion, you really have to book a planning team with a lead planner with her helpers, because that's the only way a wedding like that would go smoothly. And as far as footage goes, capturing your day, you would need at least 2 photographers for that day in order to make sure to not miss a single moment. And through my experience, I've had a lot of brides who didn't book enough vendors or didn't book any vendors at all for specific things like planning, DJ, catering, and it becomes a real headache. And a lot of brides get really upset, and sometimes upset at the vendors that they already booked. And in reality, we can only do so much. But if you book the correct amount of vendors, the correct amount of photographers, the right planner for your day, you're going to have a better performing day. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a high budget. And in my opinion, you can have a wedding in grandpa's backyard, save your money from the venue, and book a planner. Book a really good planner and book a good photographer. And you know what? Your wedding day is gonna go a lot smoother, and it's gonna look a lot prettier than you've imagined on the day of. And you're gonna be able to enjoy it, smell the roses, and be there that day. Now, if you go for the venue, but no vendors, or little to no vendors, you're really gonna have a difficult time enjoying your wedding day. Because yes, it's gonna look beautiful, the venue's gonna look beautiful, but you may not be able to capture everything that you may want to capture. You may not be able to experience everything you may want to experience, because your wedding day is run by you or run by a family member who's inexperienced in planning. And again, I love venues. There are so many gorgeous venues out there that I have fallen in love with, that have given me so many opportunities to give blessings to couples. But there's plenty of brides that really misprioritize the value of their vendors. But not just any vendors, but the right vendors for your wedding, your size, and your budget. The vendors that can make your day really special. Have a blessed one, everyone. Love you guys, and this is Wedding Talk.